Human beings are constantly negotiating the space between their conscious intentions and the invisible currents of the unconscious. There are moments when someone sincerely wishes to reach another, to bridge the distance between hearts and minds, yet something always seems to interfere. It may not be the external world, nor the person they wish to contact, but rather an inner resistance they cannot see. Fear, hesitation, and past experiences shape this resistance, creating a tension between what is desired and what is possible. This tension is not a failing. It is a reflection of the psyche striving for balance. Every blocked attempt to connect carries within it a story, a layer of meaning that calls for understanding. The struggle itself is an invitation to reflect upon one's inner landscape, to ask why the path of communication is obstructed. Perhaps the person attempting to reach out carries doubts about their worthiness or fears the vulnerability required for true connection. Perhaps they encounter internal voices warning them of past disappointments. These are not signs of weakness, but mirrors of the deeper self, signaling that the journey toward authentic contact requires not just effort, but awareness, patience, and self-reflection. Recognizing this allows us to approach the situation not with judgment, but with empathy, understanding that the obstacle may not be outside, but within. The forces that prevent someone from reaching another often arise from the shadow of the self, the unseen collection of fears, unresolved emotions, and unacknowledged desires. When a person struggles to communicate, it is the shadow that sometimes steps in, creating hesitation, confusion, or withdrawal. What is projected outward as delay or avoidance may in fact be a dialogue occurring within, one between conscious intention and unconscious caution. This inner conversation is complex, layered, and often misunderstood. Each human being interprets the world not as it objectively is, but through the lens of their own experiences, projections, and unresolved conflicts. Therefore, when someone seems unable to connect despite effort, it is an expression of a much larger psychic movement. Observing this dynamic without anger or disappointment allows us to perceive not just the struggle of the other, but the universal human challenge of reconciling inner contradictions. In this recognition lies compassion, both for the one reaching out and for ourselves, for we too have faced similar invisible barriers in our attempts to connect. Understanding why attempts to reach another are blocked invites us into a process of introspection that is both subtle and profound. We begin to see that human relationships are shaped by forces far deeper than conscious thought. A simple act of reaching out is never purely external. It is entwined with the rhythms of the inner self. Timing, readiness, and internal alignment shape whether contact succeeds or falters. The obstacle, then, is not necessarily rejection or indifference, but a signal from the unconscious. Something within must first be reconciled. By contemplating these internal dynamics, we learn to interpret hesitation not as failure, but as a meaningful message. We recognize that true connection requires patience, self-awareness, and a willingness to navigate the hidden currents that govern our lives. It is here, in this delicate negotiation between desire and restraint, that the potential for authentic, transformative interaction emerges. To witness someone striving to reach out, even when blocked, is to see the human spirit engaged in its profound and ongoing task. The reconciliation of conscious will with the unseen depths of the self. Every individual carries within themselves a shadow, a hidden realm of emotions, fears, and unresolved experiences that often guide behavior without conscious awareness. When a person attempts to reach another, this shadow can act as an unseen barrier, manifesting as hesitation, miscommunication, or withdrawal. These internal resistances are not arbitrary. They are protective mechanisms shaped by past experiences, cautioning the individual against perceived risks of vulnerability. The struggle to connect, then, is not simply a matter of will, but a reflection of the ongoing dialogue between the conscious self, which desires contact, and the unconscious, which navigates potential danger and discomfort. Often the one striving to reach out may not fully understand why their efforts falter. They may experience confusion, self-doubt, or even frustration, unaware that the resistance arises from within, from parts of the self that are seeking recognition and integration. By observing these subtle forces with attention and curiosity, one can begin to see that human interactions are rarely straightforward. They are influenced by a complex interplay of conscious intentions and unconscious pressures. Empathy is essential in these situations, not only toward the person trying to connect, but also toward oneself, as we too are prone to internal obstacles that limit our ability to act fully in accordance with our desires. Projection further complicates these attempts at connection, as each person unconsciously interprets the behaviors of others through the lens of their own unresolved conflicts. The hesitations, delays, or perceived rejections that occur when someone is reaching out are often misunderstood, not because of ill will, but because the unconscious mind colors perception with past experiences. This creates a situation where the one seeking connection may feel blocked by external factors, while the person being approached may react to projections rather than the reality of the other's intentions. Recognizing the role of projection allows us to approach the situation with awareness, understanding that the barriers are sometimes reflections of inner dynamics rather than external obstacles. The subtle dance of connection, resistance, and perception reveals the depth of human experience, showing that relationships are mirrors through which we confront not only others, but ourselves. To truly understand why someone struggles to reach another, one must look beneath surface behaviors and consider the shadow, projection, and inner conflicts that shape human interaction. The process of connecting with another human being is thus not simply an act of choice. It is a journey through layers of consciousness, shaped by unseen forces that influence action, perception, and interpretation. Each attempt to reach out is a negotiation between desire and restraint, courage and fear, the known self and the unknown aspects lurking beneath awareness. When someone struggles to make contact, it is an invitation for both parties to reflect on the internal dynamics at play, the fears that inhibit, the projections that distort, and the shadows that demand acknowledgement. By approaching this struggle with patience, empathy, and introspection, one can transform frustration into insight, recognizing that every barrier carries meaning and every hesitation is a message from the inner self. Connection, in its truest form, is not achieved by force or persistence alone, but by attuning to these subtle currents, navigating the hidden territories of the psyche, and allowing authentic communication to emerge when both inner and outer conditions are aligned. Timing is a subtle but profound force in human connection, often shaping the success or failure of attempts to reach another. Even when the desire to connect is sincere and unwavering, external circumstances, internal readiness, and unconscious rhythms can create barriers that prevent contact from fully materializing. Life presents a complex weave of events, unexpected obligations, emotional fluctuations, and environmental conditions that influence the exact moment a connection can occur. Sometimes the person striving to reach another is prepared, yet the other is not receptive, not because of rejection, but because their own inner landscape is not aligned with the moment. This misalignment is neither punishment nor coincidence. It is the intricate unfolding of life's timing, reflecting the interplay between conscious intention and unconscious orchestration. Recognizing this helps shift perspective from frustration to understanding, as one begins to see that a blocked attempt may carry a hidden message about patience, self-reflection, or preparation. Life's timing, like the tides, cannot be forced, and trying to do so often deepens resistance rather than bridging the gap. By observing the subtleties of timing, one can learn that connection is not merely an act of will, but a resonance that requires readiness on multiple levels: emotional, psychological, and circumstantial. The invisible forces that govern timing are closely intertwined with internal states. When a person struggles to reach another, it is often because parts of their psyche are not fully prepared to face vulnerability, honesty, or intimacy. These internal hesitations may appear as external obstacles, missed calls, delayed responses, or moments of withdrawal. Such interruptions are not arbitrary. They signal the necessity of aligning internal conditions before external action can succeed. Timing, therefore, is both an external and internal phenomenon. To approach someone at the wrong moment may generate resistance, misunderstanding, or avoidance, whereas aligning with readiness allows the natural flow of connection to occur with authenticity and depth. Understanding the role of timing invites patience and reflection, encouraging one to consider not just the external act of reaching out, but the readiness of the heart and mind involved. In doing so, one comes to recognize that human interaction is a delicate balance, orchestrated by both visible choices and unseen rhythms that govern the emergence of meaningful relationships. Life's orchestration reminds us that each attempt to reach another carries lessons beyond immediate success or failure. A failed attempt may reflect timing, readiness, or unresolved inner work rather than lack of desire. It invites both parties to explore their internal landscapes, to discern fears, expectations, and unconscious patterns that influence communication. By observing these patterns with curiosity and compassion, one transforms obstacles into guidance. Connection, then, is less a linear achievement and more a dynamic dance between readiness and opportunity, conscious effort and unconscious timing. Recognizing this interplay cultivates patience and insight, allowing one to honor the process rather than only the outcome. Ultimately, the struggle to reach another becomes a mirror reflecting personal growth, emotional awareness, and the mysterious choreography of life that governs the alignment of two human hearts. It is in this careful attunement to timing that authentic and lasting connection emerges, carrying with it both depth and meaning. The act of reaching out to another human being is never purely physical or superficial. It is deeply symbolic, a journey of the psyche revealing hidden fears, desires, and the ongoing dialogue between conscious intention and the unconscious mind. When someone struggles to make contact, what is visible on the surface, hesitation, delayed responses, or avoidance, is often only a fraction of the internal experience taking place. Each failed attempt to connect is a mirror reflecting the inner tensions of the person trying to reach out. These obstacles are not inherently negative. Rather, they carry meaning, inviting introspection and self-awareness. The struggle becomes a lens through which one can observe patterns of avoidance, dependency, or projection that interfere with authentic communication. By paying attention to these patterns, one begins to see that human relationships are not merely transactions, but complex interactions shaped by layers of conscious and unconscious forces. The effort to reach another, even when obstructed, is itself an expression of courage and intention, revealing a willingness to confront vulnerability and to seek resonance despite the unseen barriers. Resistance, in this sense, should be viewed not as rejection, but as a signal from the inner self. The hesitations or misalignments that prevent connection are symbolic gestures from the unconscious, indicating unresolved conflicts, fear of exposure, or the need for further self-integration. Each interruption is a message, quietly urging the individual to observe and understand their own limitations, insecurities, or internal divisions. Often, the person attempting connection may feel frustrated or confused, unaware that the obstacle originates within, from unexamined parts of their psyche. By interpreting these blockages as meaningful rather than random, One cultivates a perspective of insight and empathy. This awareness transforms the experience of failure or hesitation into a source of psychological growth, revealing that even in moments of incomplete connection, the process is teaching something essential about self-awareness, patience, and the profound complexity of human relationships. Ultimately, reaching out is both an external act and an inner journey. Each attempt reflects the interplay of desire, fear, and unconscious influence, making every interaction a potential site of insight and personal development. The person striving to connect is engaged in a negotiation between who they consciously wish to be and the deeper forces that shape their actions. Observing the symbolic nature of resistance allows one to respond with patience and understanding rather than judgment or blame. It encourages recognition that true connection is cultivated not only through action but through reflection, empathy, and the integration of unconscious material into conscious awareness. The obstacles that block contact are not permanent barriers, they are invitations to explore the depths of the self, to recognize and reconcile hidden tensions, and to allow authentic communication to emerge when both inner readiness and external opportunity align. In this way, the struggle to reach another carries transformative potential, revealing the profound psychological dynamics underlying every human attempt at connection. Emotional barriers are often subtle, almost imperceptible, yet they wield tremendous influence over our ability to connect with others. Hesitation, incomplete communication, or distraction may seem trivial on the surface, but they often signify a deeper internal struggle. When someone is attempting to reach out but is blocked by unseen forces, it is usually because parts of their psyche are grappling with fear, doubt, or unresolved past experiences. These barriers are not deliberate acts of avoidance. They are expressions of the inner self negotiating between the desire for connection and the instinct to protect itself. Awareness of these subtle signals allows us to approach the situation with patience and mindfulness rather than frustration or judgment. By observing hesitation or incompleteness as manifestations of inner tension, one can develop empathy for the person striving to connect. These emotional obstructions invite reflection on the complexity of human interaction and the delicate balance between openness and self-protection. Recognizing the presence of such barriers helps to create space for authentic communication, allowing the individual to navigate internal resistance at their own pace. This patience becomes a vital part of supporting meaningful connection, acknowledging that every blocked attempt is a step in the journey toward genuine understanding. Emotional obstacles are closely tied to the unconscious, which often directs behavior outside of conscious awareness. A person reaching out may encounter hesitations, pauses, or missed opportunities, not because of a lack of intention, but due to unseen internal dynamics. The unconscious communicates through these disruptions, signaling unresolved conflicts, insecurities, or fears that require attention before a successful connection can occur. To perceive these subtle cues requires mindfulness and presence, for the conscious mind may overlook the complexity of internal resistance. Approaching the situation with compassion allows both the observer and the person reaching out to navigate the intricacies of human emotions safely. Emotional barriers are not permanent hindrances, they are temporary manifestations of the psyche seeking equilibrium. By honoring the space created by these pauses or interruptions, one allows the individual to work through their internal conflicts, facilitating the eventual emergence of authentic, unforced communication. The process of overcoming emotional barriers is gradual and deeply personal. It requires time, introspection, and the willingness to face hidden aspects of the self that inhibit connection. The person attempting to reach another is engaged in a negotiation between fear and courage, hesitation and desire, conscious intent and unconscious resistance. By providing space, patience, and understanding, one nurtures the conditions in which genuine connection can flourish. Recognizing subtle emotional cues transforms perceived failures into meaningful signals, guiding both individuals toward insight, empathy, and readiness for authentic engagement. Emotional barriers, therefore, are not obstacles to condemn, but invitations to deepen awareness, embrace patience, and witness the unfolding of the human psyche in its effort to bridge distance and form connection. Every hesitation, pause, and subtle interruption carries within it the potential to reveal hidden truths about the self and the intricate dance of human relationships. The way we perceive connection is often shaped not only by the actions of others, but also by the expectations we unconsciously project onto them. When one anticipates a response, a certain openness, or a specific form of acknowledgement, these unspoken demands can inadvertently create resistance in the person attempting to reach us. They may recoil not because they lack intention or desire, but because the pressure of expectation triggers their own fears of failure, misunderstanding, or inadequacy. Expectations, especially unexamined ones, act like invisible walls that distort natural interaction, making simple gestures of outreach feel complicated or threatening. By becoming aware of the projections we place on others, we can soften these invisible pressures and create an environment where connection can occur more freely. Observation without judgment becomes crucial, for it allows space for both parties to navigate internal dynamics safely, reducing the weight of unconscious resistance. The person striving to communicate is often doing so amidst their own internal obstacles, and an awareness of how our expectations shape these obstacles fosters patience, empathy, and insight into the complexities of human engagement. When the influence of projection is recognized, the attempt to reach another is less likely to be misinterpreted, allowing authentic interaction to emerge naturally. Expectations also operate subtly in the way we interpret hesitation or delayed responses. When we unconsciously impose ideals on how someone should act or respond, even the most sincere attempt at contact may appear insufficient or flawed. The person reaching out senses this unspoken scrutiny, triggering their own internal hesitations. What might be perceived as a failure or rejection is often a reflection of this dynamic, the interplay between expectation and reality, projection and response. By attending to our own mental constructs, we begin to see the invisible pressures we contribute to interactions, which can either facilitate or obstruct connection. Reducing these projections does not guarantee immediacy, but it does allow for a more authentic exchange, where both parties are free to express intention without the distortions of imagined requirements. The act of reaching out then becomes a cooperative dance of presence, awareness, and timing, guided as much by internal alignment as by external action. In essence, the dynamics of projection and expectation reveal the delicate interplay between the conscious and unconscious aspects of the psyche. Every attempt to reach another is influenced by this subtle push and pull, shaping both perception and behavior. Recognizing the role of projection allows us to respond with compassion, not judgment, understanding that resistance often originates within internal fears rather than from external unwillingness. By softening expectations and observing our own projections, we reduce unconscious pressure, creating the conditions for authentic communication. This awareness transforms hesitation, delay, and subtle resistance from sources of frustration into opportunities for insight, fostering a deeper appreciation of the complex inner and outer currents that shape human connection. It reminds us that understanding another's struggle to reach out begins with understanding our own contributions to the invisible forces that guide interaction. The journey to connect with another human being is rarely linear. It is shaped by cycles of attempt, reflection, hesitation, and renewal. When someone struggles to reach out, each pause or setback is not simply an obstacle, but a meaningful part of a larger process. Human interaction unfolds in layers, influenced by conscious intent, unconscious patterns, and life circumstances that cannot be entirely controlled. Each interruption or failed attempt carries lessons about patience, acceptance, and the necessity of aligning inner readiness with external opportunity. To witness these interruptions is to recognize that connection is not merely a matter of persistence or willpower. It is a dynamic process in which timing, internal alignment, and sensitivity to subtle signals play essential roles. By approaching this journey with awareness and compassion, one can transform frustration into insight, understanding that every hesitation and pause contributes to a deeper comprehension of oneself and the other. The struggle itself, then, becomes a teacher, guiding both individuals to navigate the delicate balance between desire and restraint, readiness and hesitation, conscious effort and unconscious influence. Each setback or delay also provides a mirror reflecting personal patterns and inner tendencies that shape interaction. When someone is unable to reach another, it may indicate unresolved fears, habitual avoidance, or unconscious resistance that has yet to be acknowledged. Observing these patterns without judgment allows for an expanded awareness of the psychological forces at work. These lessons are subtle, requiring patience and introspection, but they offer profound insights into the mechanics of human connection. Every pause, every misstep, and every moment of hesitation offers an opportunity to cultivate empathy and understanding for the one striving to connect, as well as for oneself. Human relationships are rarely immediate or straightforward. They are guided by intricate rhythms of consciousness and unconsciousness that require sensitivity to recognize. By framing the interruptions as part of a meaningful process, rather than as failures, one develops the capacity to respond with clarity, empathy, and intentional presence. The nonlinear nature of connection emphasizes the value of reframing struggle as opportunity. Each obstacle, hesitation, or delay is not an endpoint, but a signal for reflection, self-awareness, and growth. The process of striving to connect teaches lessons about patience, emotional attunement, and the limits of control. It encourages both parties to recognize that authentic communication emerges not from force or expectation, but from an alignment of inner readiness, timing, and genuine presence. The dance of reaching out and encountering resistance thus becomes a mirror of the human condition, revealing the complexities of desire, fear, and unconscious influence that govern relationships. In this understanding, one can approach moments of struggle with empathy, recognizing that every failed attempt carries transformative potential, and that the process of connection is itself a path toward deeper psychological insight and meaningful human engagement.